Good morning, awesome parents and students of elite educators. Today I wanted to come at you with a video on the top 5 tips that we use when dealing with students to help them through this uncertain times of COVID-19. Now, I would have come out with a video like this way before, but we've been trying different methods to get the students to learn, to keep up their morale, to make sure that they remain positive. And some work, some not. We believe in testing, and making sure that it actually works before we decide to actually implement it in our classes. So just top 5 tips that we've used and we've seen amazing results. Now the first tip, anyone who knows me would basically even before coronavirus, we were using this in our classes, which is positivity, and positivity. So tip number 1 is basically using hopeful and optimistic language. So when you're speaking about almost anything with regards to coronavirus, you want to leave out the negatives. Now, I know it is important for older students like forms 5, upper 6, they need to have a concrete, solid understanding of coronavirus and the economic impacts, etc. However, students at the primary school level, their minds are still developing, and yes, they need to know to a certain extent. However, they will not cope. They don't have that mechanism developed yet that would help them to deal with a situation like COVID-19 fully. So the first thing is to try to use as much positive language. What I do in all of the classes is I try to reframe it. Like I would say, hey guys, you guys are the luckiest students ever. Every student ever, even when I was in university, we just wanted to have no exams, and you guys have no exams. So for SEA students, we try to reframe it in a positive light. So we're not going to say, hey, this is the end of the world, because there are some students who are predisposed to worrying a lot. So try to make everything with a positive outcome. So students who didn't write the essay exam will be like, guys, this is your chance. There was probably one topic that you would get in trouble with, and now you have so much extra time to study that one topic and to do much better and to get 100% in the essay exam, to work on all your weak skills. So that way we take something that would seem like a negative, like, wait, no, you don't have essay exam, or hey, no, you don't have classes, and put it in a positive light. This will be the time for them to do stuff that they always wanted to do. Go on YouTube, learn how to play the piano, if they have any instruments at home, or even skills that don't need an accessory, like I don't know, like badminton with the little brother, or sewing or something like that. So this is not just for students, but this is an opportunity. Now, you can either look at it in a positive way or a negative way. And in a negative way, all that will do is just reduce energy, make you demotivated, and less likely to actually do the things that you would want to do. And yes, Corona is not the best thing ever. However, you can put a positive spin on it. And we do that in all of our classes, and we've been getting amazing results, as you guys already know. Second thing is basically, one thing that we tend to do sometimes, and right now I'm currently doing with some of my classes, is redo topics that were taught in class. Now, in psychology, they have a term, they call it an anchor. And an anchor is basically a trigger for a past memory that occurred. So, like for instance, in class, we did a wide variety of topics ranging from LCM to perimeter to multiplication to percentages. And I tend to make all the classes like super fun. They have like prizes given out for each class, good prizes. And what I tend to do is, if I see the morale of the students tend to drop, I tend to bring them back. I tend to revise that topic and then actually remember things from that particular class and bring it back. So those students would tend to remember that sense of camaraderie, that they were in a class. We cap classes at 15 students, so maximum 15 students, that they work together as a group, as a team with other peers, people of their age and of their skills and abilities. So essentially, by revising those topics, they'll remember from back before Corona, when they were in school, when they were interacting with other students, when they were with at least 2 teachers in every class. So a little bit of revision doesn't hurt. It tends to make them It tends to make them more confident because, for instance, if we introduce a new topic, even though we stay back after the 2+ hour Zoom classes, we don't have that one-on-one. So we are doing new topics, but we're breaking them down into smaller chunks than we would before on the actual daily classes itself. So first thing, positivity, 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 positivity. Second thing, revision and carrying back the students to a time when they were all together in a classroom. Third, this one is super important. Get news from trusted sites, and you as a parent filter news before it reaches the students. Now with the advent of every student basically having a tablet or a laptop or at least a cell phone or some way of getting on the internet, the media houses, Trinidad and worldwide, they just try to make clickbaity titles. Instead of saying something like you have a at least 70% plus recovery rate from coronavirus, they would say something like everybody going on dead, right? And the thing is, these media houses, before, they used to get money based on how much people buy Guardian, Express, Newsday. Now they get money based on advertisements. They embed advertisements into their articles. And every time you view that article using Google AdSense or some other advertising program, they would essentially get like they would get like 1 cent US for every click. So what do they want? Do they want you to read the headlines and just go and share a post or share a meme? Or do they want you to click that immediately so they could get their money? And it adds up. When 1 million people clicks an advertisement, that is a lot of ad revenue. So the thing is, you have to like look at these articles, sort through the fact, sort through the hype, sort through the fiction, because a lot of things in the news out there, the media is just overhyped. It is true to some extent, but they are pushing the barriers to make it seem like, everybody, like I said, everybody gonna dead with corona, even though it barely affects kids. And there was only like 2 or 3 reported cases of like teenagers getting it, and they had pre-existing conditions. So super important is getting news from trusted sites. And even then, a long time ago when I was in NAPS, my English teacher like gave us this epic quote. She said, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. And that is with me today. Like, even when I was teaching in presentation in college, I would tell my students that as well, because it is so easy to like fake news, fake this, fake that. The internet, somebody plus a keyboard equals, you could do basically anything online. So fourth, is something that we all should do, right? Is basically make sure that the students keep in contact with their friends and their particular peer group. Because being home alone, that could take a toll on students. These students, since they were small, first year, second year, standard 1, standard 2, they were accustomed to going to school, seeing Sir or Miss, as well as all of these students in their class. And now, not just students, but a lot of adults, students from tertiary institutions, secondary schools, they are all forced in a situation where if they are properly practicing what we have to do, which is social isolation, they are just home. So the best way to combat that and potential depression from not seeing their peers is to make sure that somehow they could keep in contact with their friends. When I was in secondary school, I remember it was phone, the regular phone, where TSCT used to charge a ton of money. My word, those were the days. I used to make calls to your friends when it was like news, when your parents watching the news, and you would like, and then put a fan towards your door so nobody could hear you talk. That was just way back in the days. So make sure the students keep in contact with the friends. And now we have the option of non-expensive means. Back in my days, how much money B-Mobile used to charge? A lot. Now we have things like WhatsApp, we have things like email, we have things like, well, no, I wouldn't recommend Facebook, but we have like video chat meetings. One thing that we do in our classes, we usually like have the students come a little bit earlier, like 10 minutes before, and we just have a waiting period of 10 minutes so everyone could get into the waiting room. Then we let them into the class, and in that 10 minutes, they have full access of the board. They could there's a virtual whiteboard on Zoom, so they could draw, they could play tic-tac-toe, they could talk to each other about PUBG, Call of Duty, Roblox, whatever those games are, etc. So we want our students to actually communicate with each other and sing. Apparently they do that a lot. I would leave the computer and I'll just be hearing singing from like 5 or 6 students and be like, what? Nobody can hear. So make sure they at least try to keep in contact with some of the friends. Again, make sure that it is somewhat moderated. You don't want friends who are like full of fear, like bringing that fear into like your student environment. Again, I would say, just like everything else, the best example is like a cell. The cell itself has a cell wall to like let good things in and let bad things out. And I use this analogy all the time. I would say like even Trinidad is like a cell. Our borders are here to protect us. If bad people come or bad stuff come in, then the cell itself will die out. So your home is just like a cell. You let good things in, positivity, friends, you let all the good things in and you block those bad things from coming in. Otherwise it could cause the demise of that cell itself. And last but not least, is basically to tell the students about COVID-19 education. And the thing is, we have so much split views. We have the United Nations, we have the World Health Organization, we have USA, we have this scientist, that scientist. But generally, they all agree on a few things. One, it is highly contagious. Two, social distancing and washing hands, that's the way to go. And basic hygiene is very, very important. And once we instill this in the students, it will translate outwards when they do eventually open back the schools, which we not 100% sure when it will happen, because we have to make sure that we out of the curve, make sure that we have no more new coronavirus cases, because this virus is so contagious that if we reopen schools prematurely, we could end up with a worse wave than what we had before. So make sure when you educate your kids, make sure to tell them about not to discriminate. So if one of the friends have the virus, make sure they don't shout, "Hey, Corona, Corona," or something like that. Make sure they understand the bad effects of the virus, and also make sure that they have a zero pressure environment, so that if they do feel ill, that they won't be afraid to come out into the open and tell you as their parent, "Hey mom, hey dad, not feeling too good, should probably like take some rest and get appropriate like vitamin C," a whole different course of action there. So guys, I hope these 5 tips helped. Again, like I said, I would have come out with a video earlier, but I really wanted to give advice on things that we've already done in class. And remember, registration is actually still open. At the moment, we do SCA classes. So we do creative writing, English language, as well as maths. You guys could check us on Elite Educators TT. We have like the best team ever. We go directly from the syllabus. We actually, a couple of weeks ago, resumed giving prizes in classes. So we have this way, it's a really cool spin wheel. Once they attend the class, they could win a prize. Parents could come and they could collect a sanitized package with the prize in it as well. So anyhow, guys, be safe out there. Have an awesome day. And if you guys want a ton of free resources, we have it on our YouTube channel. If you want one-on-one coaching with the actual Zoom meetings at least 2 hours per weekend, where we work with your child, you guys could always hit us up at 486-6450, that is me, and 750-5683, Miss Aruna, and we will take it from there. Anyhow, guys, have an awesome week and be safe. Peace.